I'd like to start this video off by saying, I guess admitting that I've never used Luna. I've applied to the program. I have not yet been accepted. I haven't used an Xbox since the Xbox 360, although I do subscribe to Game Pass, which means I have access to a bunch of games, but I often don't play them because I can't be bothered to download them. I don't have an Android device in order to play xCloud on, although I did try it on my iPad when we had the beta program for a little while, and it worked okay. I played some Halo on there, which was cool. So you might wonder, how can I talk about these things with any kind of authority? Well, first off, don't let don't walk away from this video thinking that I think that I have any kind of authority. I'm just kind of looking at the business models of these different services and saying which one I think is the best for me. And maybe you agree with me and maybe you don't. But let me know in the comment section down below. And I don't want to compare resolutions and frame rates because honestly, that's going to vary on a game by game basis. And on top of that, if we stretch everything out on a long enough timeline, I think that xCloud, Luna, and Stadia, they'll all perform pretty much equally well. Right now, Stadia performs the best, as far as resolution and frame rate goes. But on a long enough timeline, that's not going to matter. Everything's going to perform equally well. And I think that this is really about the business model and which one is the best deal. And for me, it's Google Stadia, which is kind of a weird thing to say because ever since Game Pass was announced, I've been saying it's the best deal in gaming. And in the short term, it absolutely is the best deal in gaming. But in the long term, I think Stadia Pro is where you want to invest. Let's start with Microsoft's Game Pass. As of the time that I'm recording this, when you subscribe, you get access to about 100 games. You get all of Microsoft's first-party titles, as well as access to EA's Play. All of that is included with your subscription, which is really, really good at $15 a month. You also have the ability to play on a local device. Perhaps if your internet isn't working, you can have those games installed on your local device. And if you have an Android device, then you can also play select games of that subset on your phone when you are out and about, which is also very compelling. Altogether, that's an incredibly good deal for $15. Now let's talk about Amazon Luna. I think it's important to point out that Luna is not actually available yet. It's currently in beta. You have to apply to get early access, and very few people actually have early access. You can't even buy the controller unless you have early access. On Luna, there are 50 games for the price of $6. Though keep in mind that $6 is an early access price. It's going to go up at some point in the future. We don't know when. For an extra $15 a month, you also get access to Ubisoft's Ubisoft Plus. Now, you'll also get access to that on other platforms as well when it comes to those other platforms. But right now, on Luna, you can subscribe to Ubisoft Plus and play all of your Ubisoft Plus games there. You don't have to subscribe to Luna in order to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus on Luna. It's kind of confusing, and that's one of the negatives that I think is going to happen with Luna, is because when people look at it, they're just like, I'm not sure what the hell I'm paying for. It seems like the plan with Amazon Luna is to have you subscribe to various channels, maybe by publisher or by genre. So by publisher, maybe you want to subscribe to all of the Ubisoft stuff, or maybe it's by genre. They could say, all right, there's a shooter channel, or there is a RPG channel, and you can subscribe to that and have access to it. I feel like this is by far the most confusing option. We're not sure if on this plan you'll be able to just straight up buy a game. So if a game comes out and you don't want to subscribe, you just want to buy it, we don't know if that's going to be an option. If you feel like subscribing to, maybe you've have subscription fatigue between Netflix and Hulu and HBO, and if you feel like those subscriptions are getting out of hand, then I think that Luna is confusing and daunting, and I think a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I don't think so. I think that, in my opinion, wait until every publisher has their own subscription, and things are going to get out of hand really quickly. That's why I'm not super excited about Luna. I'm excited to try it, but I really hope that they abandon this business model, or that this business model is only one option of others. Like, if you can also just buy games from Luna, then I think it's a much better deal. The way that most of these subscriptions work is you are subscribed to the service. Games each month get added to the service, and they kind of hang out in that service for a couple of months, and then they drop out of the service. The big difference between Stadia Pro and the other services is what happens when those games exit the service. So, for instance, with Game Pass, the games come in, you can play them. When they leave, you no longer have the ability to play them. You can buy them for a discount, but at that point, you have to either buy it or too bad. That's it. You can't play it anymore. The same is true with Amazon Luna, although we haven't seen how long games will be in the, rotation for Amazon Luna yet. I'm assuming that what will happen is you'll be subscribed and games will show up, and then they will disappear. We don't know for sure yet because Amazon's being pretty tight-lipped on that. Let's compare it to Stadia Pro, though. With Stadia Pro, when you are subscribed and a game becomes available, you claim that game. Now, as long as you stay subscribed, you will continue to have access to that game, even if it leaves Stadia Pro. So, for instance, when we'll say Rise of the Tomb Raider became a Stadia Pro game, we've clicked claim on it. Months and months later, you can no longer claim Rise of the Tomb Raider on Stadia Pro. But if I want to, right now, I can still access that game because I've claimed it and added it to my account. If I stop paying for Pro, I can't play anymore. But I think that that's a pretty good deal. In fact, if you have been subscribed to Stadia Pro since it came out last November, you now have 60 games that are in your library. So while that first month with Amazon Luna or with Game Pass, you feel like you're getting a really good deal that first month, over a long period of time, on Stadia, your library just keeps getting bigger. Whereas on the other services, your library pretty much stays the same size, and the games kind of appear and disappear based on whatever licensing deals that Microsoft or Amazon makes with the publishers of the games. So in the short term, Luna and Game Pass definitely offer more games for less money, and it seems really, really compelling. But over a long period of time, I think that Stadia Pro is the better subscription to have. Not only do you get all of those games added to your library, and you can continue to play them as long as you're subscribed, but you also get a whole bunch of deals. And honestly, Google has been killing it with the sales and with how many games we've been getting each month with Stadia Pro. On a final note, when you're talking about hardware, it's a big investment up front. Especially, we've got the brand new consoles out. They're $500 a piece. They're super hard to find. And if I want to buy one of those, that kind of locks me in. Most people will buy an Xbox Series X or a PS5. Most people won't be buying both of them. And because of that, they will be locked in on only that platform, and the other platforms will be inaccessible to them. That's not the case with cloud gaming. With cloud gaming, you can kind of ping pong back and forth between the different services if you want, without any huge commitment. And again, with Stadia, when you unsubscribe and then resubscribe, you get back all of those pro games that you had already claimed before. So I'm going to be sticking with Stadia Pro for a very long time. I think it's a great service, but that doesn't mean it's the best service. I think that really depends on the person. For me, I think that Stadia Pro is the best service. And I really like that they will allow you to purchase a game straight up, just buy a game and not have to subscribe at all. Let me know what you guys think down below. What is your favorite cloud gaming service and why? I'll see you on the next one.